Hi. In this video, I'm going to talk about the equal sign, and specifically I'm going to talk about two common errors that well-intended students can make with the equal sign. So the first thing we need to talk about is just to quickly review what the equal sign means. And this is really important. If you don't know this, you won't be able to understand why the following things are errors. Now, a lot of people think that it means that the equal sign means that you should write the answer or write the thing that comes next, but that's actually not what it means. It means that things are the same. So the thing that whatever comes before the equal sign and whatever comes after the equal sign. Now, where people sometimes run into problems, especially, is if they have several equal signs in a row. And actually, some of the problems that people do is because they're trying really hard to show all their thinking. They're really writing down everything that they're doing, but then they chain them together with a bunch of equal signs, and they accidentally kind of lie about what is the same as what. So I've chosen two examples where I would often see this sort of accidental lies, and I'll show you first of all what the common error is, and then second of all what you can write instead. Alright, so in this first little example we're just going to calculate what this comes out to be. So it's 2 times 7 plus 5. So a nice well-intentioned student here working hard would start off by copying the question down, which is perfect. So far so good. And then they would say, okay, well, with the order of operations, that tells me that I should do the calculation in the brackets first. So they'll write this, the right equals 7 plus 5 to show what they're going to do. And then right equals 12. And then they'll go back up here and say, well, now I have to multiply by 2. So equals 2 times 12 equals 24. So if the equal sign did mean show what's coming next, this would be good. But the problem is that it doesn't mean that. It means that things are the same. So we know that the calculation they did is correct. This expression here is equal to 24. But they've said that 24 is the same as this, which is 12. So this equal sign is a lie, by accident, of course. 7 plus 5 equals 12. That one's okay. That's true, because 7 plus 5 is the same as 12. 12 equals 2 times 12. This one here is a lie, because 12 is not equal to 2 times 12. And then 2 times 12 equals 24. That one's okay. So what I'll do is I'll just show you how to write it instead. There's just some slight adjustments. Essentially, the ways that I'm going to ask you to write it, it's no more work, and I think the solutions might even be a little bit shorter. But sometimes you'll feel like you'll feel it more often like you're copying numbers that you're not using yet. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to write a series of little expressions, and each one of them will be equal to 24. So we'll make sure that we're copying down the stuff we're not using. So here we were thinking about the 7 plus 5. We weren't thinking about the times 2 yet, but when we write it the green way, the correct way, we'll write it with the 2 as well. So let's start off here. So we'll start off like the other person did, and we'll copy it down. 2 times 7 plus 5. Now, that is equal to, so I'm thinking the same as this person did. And if you'd like, you can underline your 7 plus 5. We're going to do the 7 plus 5 first. That's equal to 12, just like this person did. But we're not going to leave this line like that, because this is worth 24 and that's worth 12. Those aren't the same. We're going to just put that back in the brackets and write our 2 there. So I haven't done anything with the 2 yet, but I need to copy it down. The other problem with this kind of equal sign, this kind of writing of steps, often people will get down to here and forget that they had to go back and multiply by 2. Not always, but it's much more likely that you'll forget the 2. It's not the only problem, but it's one of the problems with this. So even though we're doing 7 plus 5 equals 12, what we're writing down is 2 times 7 plus 5 equals 2 times 12. And now we're just going to do the 2 times 12, which is 24. So each of these expressions, all the way along, they're all worth 24. They're all equal to 24. All right, another time I see this is when people are evaluating expressions. So again, evaluate means you should calculate how much this would be worth if x was equal to 5. So evaluate 15 times x if x is equal to 5. And I certainly ask my students to first copy down the expression 15 subtract 2x, if x equals 5. And now what sometimes people will do is they'll think, x is equal to 5, so that means 2 times 5. And they'll write 2 times 5 like that. And they'll say, well, that's equal to 10. And now I have to do 15 subtract my 10 equals 15 subtract 10, and that is 5. So this person does know how to calculate the value of the expression. The problem is, again, is the equal sign, similar to over here. So the value of the expression, when x is 5, is indeed also 5. That's just a coincidence that it's the same value. But if we look at this line, this is not equal to 5, and that's not equal to 5 either. So we can't say that all these things are equal to each other. So what I'd like you to do instead, we'll again copy the expression, 15 subtract 2x. And now we're going to do this as well. We'll substitute it in brackets. So replacing our x with 5. We have 2 times 5. But instead of leaving this line like this, we're going to copy the rest of the expression that we haven't used yet. So I'm just copying this down. 15 subtract 2 times 5. So we're not going to do anything with it yet, but we're going to leave it on the line every time. It'll be on each line until we've dealt with it, until we've used those numbers in our calculation. Okay, now I'm going to do the 2 times 5, which is what this person also did. That's equal to 10. But again, I'm not going to just leave 10 alone on this line. I'm going to write 15 subtract 10. And now we'll do what this person also did. 15 subtract 10 is 5. All right, so when you're evaluating expressions or doing sort of long calculations, this problem always comes up when the calculation's a little bit long, if there are a few steps. I want you to look at everything before and after each equal sign and say, are these things the same? Is this the same as this? The whole thing. Is this the same as this? The whole thing. And you have to go, if you have several equal signs, you have to look at everything right up until the next equal sign. Are those all the same? And if you should, if they are, as you go down, every single value, the value of every single line will be the same. This is worth 5, that's equal to 5, that's equal to 5, and that was equal to 5 as well. All right, so look out for those tricky equal signs. Remember that if things are equal, that means that they are the same. And good luck.